Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Gadget Groups podcast. I'm your host, Mobile Mike, and joining with me, I've got Nick Ball. What's up, Ball?
What is up, man? It's been like 6 weeks. I don't know. It feels like it's been forever.
It's been, yeah, I just looked because I had to see which episode this is, and the last show was published April 15th.
Wow.
So, yeah,
So
it's been a while. So,
2 months and a week.
yeah. So, apologies for the long delay in hearing our voices. I know you guys missed us. Uh, we just We just couldn't schedule a time where we could all sit down and do it. It's crazy. The past 2 months have been, I don't know, just we've all got stuff going on, and we normally record this on a Sunday, um, but summertime, going to the beach, you got family doing different stuff, so it's been, it's that struggle, man. It's that struggle.
Word.
We don't know where Vic is. He's supposed to be joining us, but he's not here, so we're just gonna roll dynamic duo style.
Yeah.
Speaking of dynamic duo, did you see the Batman vs. Robin animated movie by any chance?
No.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Is it on Netflix?
No. It's you gotta either rent it on iTunes or buy it or
That ain't
whatever.
happening.
Yeah, or obtain it in other fashions. But yeah, it was pretty good. Did you do you follow the Batman comics at all? The most recent ones?
No, I didn't like him.
Okay, they had a storyline called the Court of Owls that was basically like an undercover, or not an undercover, but like a secret society in Gotham that basically dictated
Sounds very Illuminati, especially with the owls.
very much Illuminati. Yeah, very much Illuminati, and that's kind of where it was based. It's kind of like Hydra in Marvel, how they infiltrated Shield and affected events, by assassinations and doing this and that. Kind of the same idea. Um, my dog just broke in here. Go on, go. But yeah, anyway, so it was they took that storyline from the comics and then mixed it in with um, the Damian Wayne, who was raised by Ra's al Ghul in the League of Shadows until he was like 10, and then he got dumped off on Batman. Was like, oh, by the way, Batman, you got a kid. And he's like, oh shit, I got a kid. So he's like trained assassin. He's kind of like an asshole, and he's also like 10 years old. But he's like really badass. Like he beats the shit out of Nightwing, and he can hold his own with just about anybody. So it's pretty interesting. Not terrible.
Sounds cool.
What else? What else? Yeah, have you seen or watched anything cool?
Saw Jurassic World.
Okay, yeah, so did I. Let's discuss. What did you think?
I thought it was a good movie.
Me too.
Okay. I went in knowing that it got about a 70 on Rotten Tomatoes. So my hopes weren't high going into it.
I don't know. 70 on Rotten Tomatoes is generally pretty good.
Well, when you have two movies in theaters that have a 90 plus, being Mad Max and Spy,
Okay.
um, you kind of go, why am I choosing to spend my money on this one? Well, it's there's a nostalgia factor,
Sure.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
we're hoping that this Jurassic Park isn't the two sequels that followed it, which were terrible,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
right? We're feeling like Chris Pratt is a fresh actor. We like him. He was great on Parks and Rec. He's now dropped weight. He's not the goofy guy. He was fantastic in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, let's see what he's bringing to this movie.
I don't know if you remember, but he was also in Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, he was. I do remember that. Yeah,
He was like some random badass Marine.
yeah, he was. I forgot about that, but yeah, and he's got Velociraptors as pets, right?
Yes.
This is what I know going into it. And there's a
Mhm.
giant alligator Shamu tank,
Yes.
right? That's all I have going into this. And I gotta say, I sat through that movie and I actually loved all of it. It wasn't until I walked out of the movie that I went, that really wasn't that good of a story. But that was
Mm.
a really fun movie. It was like the story was about a 4 or 5, But
Hmm.
the movie, like the rest, like the movie part of it, I felt like it was a 10, and I felt like it kind of balanced it down to a deserving 70.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I did not check the Rotten Tomatoes score going in, um, but I did see, of course, the articles, about its opening couple of days because I saw it I think on a Sunday and it opened on Friday. So that was already talking about
Oh, it
it
murdered.
made
Yeah,
500 was it 500 million
yeah, first weekend.
in 2 days or something like it was at and so I was like wow man a lot of people are seeing this movie and then I would read the highlight the titles of articles like the Jurassic Park review, blah blah blah, and they were all fairly positive. Like normally people like to fit in snarky shit in their title, like Jurassic Park should have stayed in the prehistoric age or something, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah,
And I didn't see any of that, so I was like, all right, this is good. And like you said, it's I remember going to see the first one with my dad as a kid, and I always loved it, and it's just Jurassic Park. It holds up to this day. You watch it and it's
yeah. If you go rewatch Jurassic Park, nothing about that movie holds up. It looks fucking terrible. It looks like it was
what?
filmed in the 70s. I mean, I watched it last night, and it is awful.
No, I just watched it like I don't know, maybe a year or two
It
ago.
is horrible. Like the blonde chick's body double is that's running through the woods and jump. It's like so obviously fake. The dinosaurs, they look okay, but they don't interact with the world around them quite well. Like the T Rex like hits the Jeep as it's chasing it, and like the Jeep moves after he hits it. It's just this. I mean, everything has come so much further since that movie that it just looks hokey now. But I remember at the time it was fucking groundbreaking. I mean, it was just unreal. Like, I remember we were talking about the water coming down the side of the T Rex's face and how fucking real that looked. And you know, it doesn't hold up anymore.
I'll say that the practical effects do hold up. The CG
Okay,
stuff,
yes, the practical.
definitely.
And now let's also point out that this movie didn't have very many practical effects.
Nope, and that was brought me to exactly what I was just about to say when we were talking about Chris Pratt with his Raptors, and the first scene where you see him kind of like, the most popular picture that's him like with his arms out, like whoa whoa Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
They look terrible to me. Like I even leaned over to my wife and was like, that CG looks like shit. And then like it progressively got better because they were obviously there's a lot of scenes where they're moving. There's a lot of scenes at night where they can hide some of that stuff. But the stark contrast of Raptors and
Yeah.
Chris Pratt in 3 feet of each other in daylight, it was just even with all of that,
Did you see it in 3D?
I did not see it in 3D.
Okay, me neither. I didn't have that. I didn't have that feeling. I honestly thought that the CGI was pretty damn good.
The rest of the movie I didn't have, and I was looking for it because I saw it in that first scene and was like, "Oh, this looks
Yeah.
like shit." But the rest of the movie I didn't feel that way at all. It was just that one particular scene,
Okay.
and I almost want to say it was like just two of the Raptors. Like two of them looked. Maybe it was just the colors just made them
Maybe
look.
maybe maybe the problem was is you were looking where you weren't supposed to look, because a lot of times, and I notice this especially with 3D movies, is that there's somewhere that it's like a magician. Like they want you to look at a certain part of the screen,
Hmm.
and so now I'm thinking about how am I going to render this shit. Well, you might cheat a little bit on some of the peripheral raptors because you expect the main focus to be at the center.
That might have been it. I don't remember to
Yeah.
be honest. Like which ones. I just remember that scene and being like, this doesn't. This looks like shit.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so we talked about the story not being that great. So if you haven't seen Jurassic World, then I don't know. They basically tell you everything in the trailer. Um, so
Do you remember who Pacey was from Dawson's Creek?
yeah,
Okay, what about the guy from Fringe?
yeah,
Same
same guy,
same
same
person, right?
guy, same
Okay,
guy.
just making sure. He was also in that Skulls movie,
Uh huh.
right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Okay, is that his fucking kid, the little one?
Oh, I don't know.
That bugged me the entire movie.
It does kind of look like him, doesn't it?
I was just like, that has got to be his kid. I feel like I'm looking at like a young version of him.
Yeah, yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah.
But that leads me to my point was that you or at least I, as a viewer, could give a shit less about any of those people living except for Chris Pratt,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted the bug guy from Men in Black to die, like
Vincent D'Onofrio.
yeah, the head military guy.
Yeah. Well, I see you call him the head bug guy. I call him the kingpin now.
The Kingpin, is he Kingpin?
He's kingpin, and
Oh, okay.
have you still not seen Daredevil?
I know. I tried to
Oh.
watch it. It's just
Oh my God. Okay. Well,
I keep
well,
falling asleep when I watch it. It's just that bad.
no, it's good. There's. Oh, okay. We'll pick that up another. So story wise, so okay, let's. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, so let's make sure that I got this right. Uh, okay, so it's been 20 some odd years since the original Jurassic Park.
Uh-huh.
There pretty much was no mention of any events in two or three, so I don't know if they just
Right.
ignored it or what. But
I
anyway,
felt like they did. I felt like that wasn't part of the canon anymore.
I definitely because I mean you would think if a T Rex was storming through fucking Los Angeles or wherever the fuck it landed that they would be like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't send the kids to go see a T Rex at an amusement park on an island.
This T Rex is the same T Rex from the first movie,
Correct.
based off of scar damage, and
Yes.
its love for flares.
Yeah. Well, what T Rex doesn't love flares? So 20 years go by. Um, the some Indian dude buys, I guess all the stuff that Hammond, the original creator of Jurassic Park, had. So all his DNA research, the island, the facilities, everything. He owns everything, and they open it up again. And it's been doing well, and they make a ton of money, and they have new attractions, and every time they do a new attraction, it gets a bunch more people come in, obviously, just like any other theme park.
Sure.
So they have to raise the bar. So they raise the bar by splicing a bunch of different DNA together to create a super dinosaur. And the super dinosaur breaks loose, runs amok, and Chris Pratt and his pack of raptors have to stop it. The backside of the story is that Kingpin, or Vincent D'Onofrio's character, wants to use dinosaurs for military applications, and they don't really go. And that's my major complaint with that is that it sounds like a cool idea, and I wish they maybe for a sequel that's what they're going to do, but I wish they would have explored that further. Also, tell me if you felt like this. So in the first couple of scenes, you see the two. What are they called?
Velociraptors.
No. The new dinosaur, Indominus Rex. You see the two Indominus Rex being born, and then you basically fast forward, and it's already full grown, and we've never seen it yet. I wish they would have shown a little bit more of its development and why it's so dangerous and like why we should give a shit about it. Because I felt like it was just like, oh, we just got this new dinosaur and it's called the Indominus Rex. Like you know what I mean? I don't know. I just felt like there was that could have been fleshed out to make this dinosaur more important because I could care less about it. It basically did the same thing that a T-Rex would do. Um, it had a couple little tricks up its sleeves thanks to or sleeve. I don't know. Do dinosaurs have sleeves? Thanks to some DNA splicing, but I mean, at the end of the day, it basically just did the same thing that a T-Rex cut loose would do.
Okay. As opposed to like, what the fuck would you? I mean, what would you expect him to flesh out a little bit more? And here it is as a pup. Like, I mean, I don't. What more do you want to do?
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. Like how they said, oh, that we made two of them, and one of them ate
And
the
it
other.
ate the and it, and it ate its
I
little
would have
sister.
liked to
Yeah.
maybe have seen that brutality. Like, let's see this thing, and it doesn't have to be this like huge scene, but it could have been like maybe a montage in the beginning.
Mike wanted a musical montage of Rocky punching meat, running
Right.
around.
Yes.
No, that would have been lame.
I wanted. It didn't have to be a musical
No,
montage, but
no.
I
Look,
wanted.
they covered all the bases anyways. They showed you two being born. Then they asked about the second one. Said, well, she ate it. Then it got out. Then we saw that it had the ability to be a chameleon.
And hide itself from thermo sensors.
That also, yes. Yeah, I mean, the thing was off the chain. It had all the weapons.
But then,
And,
like, they like
and there
they
was
built all this thing up, and then like when it got out, it was like, oh, I'm all out of tricks. Like, it didn't do anything else. It didn't show its intelligence. It didn't. The only thing it did was like trick raptors into thinking it was the boss, and they're like, oh shit, now it's bred with a raptor. You know, like it was like scene by scene. Let's see what we can say this thing is part. You know, is DNA spliced with just to make it interesting. And I don't know. I just felt I felt kind of underwhelmed by the Indominus Rex. You know, I thought that was kind of like the, oh, we made a new dinosaur. Let's like really fucking make it cool.
like the whole no, yeah, I think okay. I'm not saying you're wrong because you're not. I think that you may have thought it's just a fucking stupid bad guy for the Raptors and Pratt to hunt down. They're the stars.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you there.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter about all that much for them. They may have not have fleshed out the bad guy enough, if you will, but I felt like we had a couple of villains.
Right.
So how much it worked for me. And then the good twist. I mean, God, this is spoilers all over the place. If you haven't seen the fucking movie, just skip ahead 10 minutes. But that whole it's a fucking raptor twist, and then like it
Yeah,
turns.
I saw that coming like 10 miles away.
Okay, and I didn't though. And I'm usually pretty perceptive about it, but I didn't see it coming. But
Because if you're gonna splice a DNA dinosaur, of course you're gonna put a raptor in it. Because what the fuck? Like this is a Jurassic movie, you
yeah,
know.
I suppose we snuck in a bottle of wine, and I was so
Maybe that's what I should. And I liked it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I enjoyed it from start to finish.
yeah, I thought it was
And
good, and I loved I loved that the T-Rex. I'm telling you, like the ending was like just I felt like they gave up. They gave up writing, and because the ending you could just feel coming,
oh yeah.
and I was just like, oh, well, it
I'll
was
tell you what
a little
though,
bit of a letdown.
that scene though, when the fucking Indominus is in the middle, like fucking rah, rah, and everybody's all fucked up, and it's like, oh shit, it's about to eat us, and you see Blue just come fucking running out, like I got you guys, like Lassie or something. I was waiting so bad for Chris Pratt to go, you're my boy, Blue.
Yeah, no, that was good. And then the T-Rex shows up, and then that
They
alligator
like
thing ate
the
it.
the fucking the T Rex and the Raptor double teamed the Indominus Rex. It sounds so dumb, but it was so cool.
But it was done well. Like I felt like I was watching like a lion and something else large fight, and
Yeah.
then like a hyena getting in there, like trying to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, I feel like nature knows nature. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like animals have a deeper sense of kinship towards one another, or not. You know, they're
right.
like hunter
They're very,
prey is like full effect.
they're very animalistic.
Yeah, so they see this like fucking giant thing that all it wants to do is kill, kill, kill. I thought that was kind of cool, like how it was just kind of like a vindictive dinosaur. Like it really was just a bad guy. Like it just killed a bunch of those
Yeah, it killed for no reason. It just killed to
dopey
kill.
dinosaurs. Yeah, exactly. And and the T Rex in the first one just killed people just to kill people, I guess. But I mean, that's because they're people and they're small and they just
There's just little snacks.
they look like yeah, they're like chewy little things. And you're like,
Well,
oh, what's that?
you've been living off of goats anyways.
Right.
So,
So yeah. So
pretty good.
overall, yeah, I liked it. I think 7 out of 10 is a fair assessment of it.
Yeah, totally. And it's a popcorn movie. I think it's right up there with Cloverfield.
I never saw Cloverfield.
Cloverfield is a really fun movie that you can only watch once
Okay.
because like it's a first person point of view camera filmed movie in New York City with a Godzilla like monster, and after you see it once, it's hard to go back and watch it again because
You already
the
kind
whole,
of know.
yeah, it's kind of like a suspense thriller movie.
It's kind of like Signs.
Yeah, that or well, I don't know. I've watched The Village twice, I think, maybe three times.
Yeah, any of those movies where it's like they have like a big reveal, or like Gravity. Like I couldn't watch Gravity again.
Right, right, but that was a great movie.
Yeah, oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
But you couldn't. No, you can't watch it again because a
Yeah,
lot of
but
that
I would
movie
fall
is
asleep because it's like the fun of it is
the
the
unknown.
tension and the
Yeah,
unknown. Yeah.
yeah.
Or I just watched Interstellar today, and I was like, man, this is fucking great, but I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
Yeah, and that's too bad. But anyways, let's move out of pop film, and maybe we should talk about the guy. We had Google I/O. We had Apple's
Yeah, we had
developer conference.
WWDC,
Yeah,
E3,
E3 happened.
all kinds of stuff. Okay, what do you want to tackle? Well, let's go chronologically. What was Google? I think was first, right?
Yeah, what even got covered in the I/O? I really don't remember.
So let's see. Off the top of my head, Android stuff.
Yeah, there was some Android stuff. There
Yep.
was some of their cardboard goggles.
Yep. What was it Android 5.1?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Not a whole lot of, if I remember correctly, not a whole lot of user-facing stuff. Some app permissions. They basically did the same kind of thing
Oh,
that.
the Google Now Anytime or Anywhere. Or,
Yes.
God, they had a name
Shit.
for it.
Yeah. What's it called?
People who are listening to this are like, guys, this is fucking old.
Yeah. You should change your name to the Gadget Gurus to the fucking Jurassic Park Gurus. Yeah, we're terrible. Well, okay. In fairness, none of us use Android anymore. I just typed in gurus in Google.
Oh, I'm sorry, I need to mute my mic. All right, let's look at the 12 most important announcements from Google I/O
Okay, there
according
we
to The
go.
Verge.
Yeah, because they're a trusted source.
I hope this isn't only video content. Don't you hate that when a
I
website
know,
has...
man. The fucking motherfuckers.
So app permissions are getting less intimidating. They'll be easier for users to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Chrome in all of your apps. Google Now on tap. That's what it is.
That's what it's called, on tap. Yeah.
And the Google Now will actually be able to interface with apps. So something
I
like
think that's really
it'll
cool.
check Yelp, or it'll open up that restaurant in Yelp or Maps or
Like if you and I were text messaging and you sent me a text saying I'm gonna go see Jurassic World tonight, I could Google, what's it called?
Google Now
No, the new one, on
on
tap.
tap now on tap.
I could now untap it, and it would be like I pull up IMDb or Fandango,
Fandango.
and I could make and go straight from that conversation into
Yeah.
that app because it contextually searches whatever's on your screen, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and then also the big thing I think the big thing was the free online storage for your Google Photos.
Oh, you Google Photos, duh, yeah.
Yeah,
Google
because they're
Photos
trying to
is
compete
huge.
with Amazon, because Amazon's giving you unlimited free for Prime members.
Yeah, and I do use Google Photos. I mean, I'm still 100% into Google services, and Google Photos is fantastic. And one thing that I didn't realize, so I was like, oh, I pay $10 a month for Google Drive. So I was like, does this mean I don't have to pay for that anymore? And one of the things it asks you is if you it's unlimited, but it's only unlimited if you opt for optimized photos, not full res. So if you have full res, if you want to upload, exactly what you took on your phone or exactly what you have,
Which everyone should be doing.
right, it does cost money, and you do have to have a storage plan. The free one is only for optimized, so that's and which is not a big deal. I didn't really care because I already paid for it anyway, because I use Google Drive for just all kinds of everything, really. I mean, I have everything in there. So for me, not a big deal, but the app itself is fucking cool as shit. Just an example. So Father's Day, I wanted to find a funny picture of my dad. So I went into Google Photos. I clicked search. I clicked search by faces, and clicked my dad's face, and it just pulled up every photo that was of my dad.
That's creepy.
And I could find, whatever picture I wanted to find and post it. And it just so happened to have him dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire. So happy Father's Day.
The Android Pay is coming along.
Don't you find that's funny? Okay, so check this out. So Apple came out with Apple Pay, right? And inside the iPhone, they had the app called Passbook, that kept all your shit, right?
Yeah.
Then Google came out with Google Wallet, and it flopped.
Before all of that.
No.
Google Wallet was first.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Google Wallet was first, and then Apple Pay came out. Yeah.
Apple came out with Passbook. Then Apple came
out
out with Apple Pay. Now
Yeah.
Android is coming out with Android Pay.
Now, so Android renamed their thing to Android Pay, and then Apple renamed Passbook to Wallet.
I mean,
I,
there's not an arms race anymore. It's what's interesting is that this is what I'm worried about is that okay, so I feel like the operating system wars are over, and that people have just picked their sides, and nobody's going anywhere really. But it's going to come down to a services game, and
definitely.
and that's really where the contest has always been at is
Well,
the service.
that's one thing I think Google has a leg up
Huge advantage over it. And, but the funny
because
thing is that Amazon is actually a major contender.
sure, yeah, yeah, and I think that's a thing that is really important to take note for Google and for Amazon is that it doesn't matter if their operating systems fail. The only reason their operating systems are even around is to get people using their services. So if their
Right.
services reach a critical mass or a mass that's fine enough for them, it doesn't matter if Android fails. It doesn't matter if Fire OS fails because I mean Google makes every single good service application for iPhone and iPad, and Amazon does the same thing for iOS. So
Right.
and none of them make anything for BlackBerry or for Windows Phone. I don't think.
And the OS thing is really just about them trying to win a slice of the app sales.
Right,
And
right.
that's
They just say,
really
let's
it.
just take this 30%, and same thing with their services like Google Play. You buy a movie, you buy a music, But
Yeah.
I have Google Play on my iPhone. I have Google Play music on my iPhone. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's really coming to less and less importance that about the OS. It's really weird. Like I was thinking about this the other day on how Windows has just remained so dominant for decades, and just nothing has even come close. For as popular
Right.
as Mac computers are, the percentage of people that actually use them in the world is just so small and insignificant. When
Mm-hmm.
it really comes down to it, and
Yeah.
and you think about that like on the phone, like we had at one point we had so many choices, and now it's distilled down to really two.
Yeah. And then the virtual reality thing also is pretty awesome because GoPro partnered with Google to create a rig that will capture 360 on 16 cameras, and so they're developing an SDK for iOS, and the cardboard Google Cardboard viewer will work on an iPhone also with this SDK. So I think Google is actually probably going to push the forefront of this easily accessible VR that we're seeing Facebook really push with their
Oculus.
Oculus headset.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think a reason why Google always seems to be a step ahead when it comes to services is that they're willing to do stupid shit like this. Like what the fuck the goggles, uh, uh, Google Glass,
Yeah.
stuff like VR. Like I mean, could you imagine Apple making a cardboard VR?
No,
Like
no, they
how would
wouldn't.
they really don't have like Apple doesn't dip their toes into anything. They just
No,
jump
but
right in, push
they
everyone
come
out.
in and polish the shit out of something.
Right, right. It's like they let everyone else do all the work, and then they come in and polish it. And now with their services, I feel like that's not a great strategy because I mean, obviously, Apple's services like they just suck compared to. I'll give you an example. iCloud Photos, right?
Yeah,
Same idea as Google Photos, but I have no way from my device to just go and view what's in my iCloud Photos. It uploads them all, I think, but I don't know. There's no like front-facing app to go see them all,
right,
unless I have a computer or a Mac that runs the Photos application. So it's
right.
like the other day, my wife was trying to delete some stuff off her iPhone. She's like, "This should all be in iCloud, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." Question,
You can go to iCloud.com and log in and look at it.
Sure, sure, sure. But like, I could just download Google Photos and scroll through the last 10 years of pictures.
Okay,
You know what I mean? So it's like
I hear you. I hear you.
stuff like that. I think Google just has a services advantage.
Yeah, and speaking of Apple, I mean they brought out OS X El Capitan. So apparently,
Horrible name, by the way.
no, that's not. That's Yosemite. Okay, and apparently Apple is now going to mountain names, which I'm perfectly fine with.
No, I'm perfectly fine with mountain names. Just I don't know, just
El
Al
Capitan's like the
Capitan.
fucking legendary. Shut up.
I know it's just such a.
I'm sorry. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's a fucking West Coast thing.
I
I'm
hope
sorry.
so.
That's how we are. Like we forget there's like more to people to the world. Like everybody in California knows exactly what that is. Um,
Well, it's not that I don't know what it is.
okay,
It's
all
just
right,
I
all
think it's
right.
a dumbass
Stop
name.
getting hung up on that. iOS 9's here, and Surrey is now proactive, much like Google Now is with contextual advice and options.
Um, as having iOS 9 on my phone, I will say no, she isn't.
Well, that might not be in your beta.
No, 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 no. It's there. It's just nothing like Google now.
Newsstand is gone, and now it's just news.
hmm a fully redesigned app, curated by real people,
Yeah,
apparently.
it's basically like Flipboard and Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apple Watch, Jesus Christ, man, that thing is getting a huge update.
Yeah.
Uh,
Native apps, right?
oh man, next year, I think I'm going to be pulling the trigger on that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd buy one, but I don't. I still don't think they're worth the money right now.
yeah, they're not. It looks like Apple's doing HomeKit, and Google was doing something with Homes also. So home
Yeah.
automation's working their way into both of them. Um,
Do you use any home automation stuff?
I,
Sidetrack?
I I wish, but I don't.
I have so I have a Nest and I have Wemo light bulbs.
Yeah,
It would be nice to have one app that just I could go in like my home app to control it
yeah.
all, but I'm not willing to respend a bunch of money for something that's, you know what I mean?
No, I totally get it. I mean, I'd be down for a Nest, but they're also a little pricey. Um, and then finally, Apple Music, which Apple is. I mean, we were just talking about how late they come to the game with services. There's a perfect example. Um, I don't know. I don't know anybody who likes iTunes. I don't know anybody who buys music from iTunes anymore. Um, most people just use Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. Just in talking to normals and like I use my brother because he's younger than I am, but he's like 30 years older when it comes to tech stuff. Like he's the kind of person I'll text message and then he'll call me and be like, I just didn't want to text you, you know.
Yeah,
And he uses Spotify, and so it's like, and everyone that I know uses Spotify, and I use Google Play, so I'm like the odd man out over here. But I feel like Apple has a really uphill battle coming to them in order to pull people away. Because once, I mean, shit, Google beat Apple to a streaming music service years ago, and that's sad because Apple runs iTunes, which is the biggest distributor for digital music ever. So the fact that they are just now launching a streaming music service is kind of mind-boggling, and I feel like it's going to be really hard to pull people away from what they're used to, and everyone's really used to Spotify already.
yeah, I agree.
What do you think about, like, because Apple obviously has to put their own little spin on it, so they're doing something called like Beats Radio One, where it's just going to be a 24-hour, 7-day a week live radio, like internet radio channel. Um, they didn't really go into detail like what kinds of music. It's just supposed to be like, cool shit that people wouldn't get from a machined playlist. It's supposed to be curated, much like the news app, by actual DJs, like real people. Is that something that you'd be interested in, or just meh?
I'm not interested.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I feel like,
But we might be too old. I don't know.
yeah, maybe I don't know. Like I feel like when I'm trying to listen to something, I want to listen to something either very specific or like a radio station. Like today on the way to the beach, we put on 2000s rap, just a channel that just played, totally machined. I even heard the same song 3 times, but it was exactly what I wanted to hear. You
Yeah,
know, so like if I'm just going to kind of drone on with something in the background, that's what I would put on, and just about every music service offers something like that already.
yeah, and I still pay for XM. And sometimes it's nice just to. I mean, it is nice to listen to some curated music. I'm using air quotes for curated because I mean,
Yeah,
Fuck
you
out.
hear yeah, you hear the same shit on every channel. And I think
Yeah.
that's the idea with Beats Radio 1 is that it's not going to be just another top 40 or top 100. It's supposed to be like, let's find, at least the way they sold it on stage was let's find, that unknown stuff or that, those songs are just really cool that people haven't heard that isn't played on the radio. But at the same time, you got to play what's popular, or no one's going to listen to it.
Right, right. Especially, I mean, I don't know how many stations they're gonna do, but yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I think it'll be a complete flop.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't. I'm gonna give it a try just to, because they give you a 3 month free trial.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna check it out. But I don't know. We'll see.
Which Taylor Swift actually forced them into paying artists musical rights, or what do they call that? The little tiny little bit of money
Royalties.
royalties. Yeah.
Yeah. So originally they weren't gonna pay artists for that 3 month
Right.
trial, which I don't know. I don't.
I mean,
I,
I guess they don't want to pay because they're not getting any money for
Right,
it.
because Apple's not getting
But
money, so they don't want to pay. But the way I look at it is those artists already made that stuff, and you're giving it to people for 3 months
right.
for free, so you should be giving the artist something.
Yeah. So like you're gonna have to fucking eat the cost for 3 months.
Right. Yeah, it's your choice to make the service free for 3 months, not the artist. So I agree with it there. And it's really, and they backed out on that. Now they're back to, okay, we're going to pay them. And I find that super telling that Apple is so quick to bend for something like that. They are being really ginger with the music service. They need it to be successful, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, like you said, no one buys music from iTunes anymore. They just stream it from somewhere. I mean, you know how many people I know just stream shit from YouTube? Like, I remember a couple of years ago, I used to work with a guy, and he's like, I can't wait for YouTube to get background playing. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, so if I'm on my phone watching YouTube in the car, I can just go to another app, like, and get like my text messages or something, and it keep playing. And I'm like, wouldn't that defeat the purpose of the video you're watching? He's like, oh no, I don't do it for video. I do it for music.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You just fucking find shit on YouTube? He's like, yeah, I make playlists and fucking everything on YouTube. Okay.
Dude, that's the perfect example of like where there's a will, there's a way.
Right. And it's so weird that like that affects both like normal people and then like super tech nerds because like with us it's like if we need if I need to run Linux on this Chromebook, I'm gonna sit here and figure that shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm a normal and I need to get something for free, I will jump through every fucking hoop I need to do to get that thing for free. I will have this torrenting over here and this plugged into this HDMI that sends it to this hard drive that's connected to my TV.
Right. Yeah. It's like me trying to fucking watch a football game. It's like I found a site that is consistently reliable, and it's some British gambling website that streams every sporting event. And I know that it's like I used to spend so much time trying to find somewhere to watch the game. I missed the first quarter, and now it's like I found my spot. The quality is like a 7 out of 10,
Right.
but it's free.
Yeah. And it's
And
hassle
yeah,
free.
yeah, and I hook it up to the TV with the HDMI cable, and I'm good. Yeah, it's so true. It's just, and if the NFL would like just offer,
Like a HBO now.
if they would just offer a Sunday ticket at an affordable price, you know,
Oh, they'd kill
on
it.
on every device,
Yeah.
I'd totally buy into it. But like, they don't want to lose that with DirecTV because DirecTV has a stipulation about how like they're the only TV thing. It's just like, it's such a clusterfuck. So all you can get is the Red Zone channel, and I'm not fucking paying for that.
Yeah, and it's I mean it's a perfect example of just how the old school way of watching television
Yeah.
is just slowly but surely dying, and it will die. I mean, people are moving to HBO now. People, you're going to get Hulu, Netflix, all this stuff. We talked about it a billion times. I mean,
Million
that is
times.
the so, and I think right now the largest hangup is sports. Like I watch Formula One, and trying to watch Formula One without having it recorded on my DVR is just fucking ridiculous. It's such a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, you could always check out the website that I use.
Yeah. Send it to me.
I will. Send
Because if
that to
it's
you.
because if it's a you said it's a UK thing,
Yeah, it's based out of the UK because you know they gamble and everything.
right? Then they
Yeah,
should definitely have Formula One.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot
They
of a
no,
lot
they
of
do.
money
They
in there.
do. They got it. They got it.
What else? Anything else Apple do? I don't think so.
Not really. I went through the
Yeah,
whole
looks like
thing.
that's it. That's it. Um, we had E3. Um,
Oh yeah, that was big.
I mean, a lot of stuff at E3. I mean, nothing that I really was like, oh my God, I remember this, but whatever.
Well, the
Nothing.
fact that their Xbox is releasing, I don't know if it's a new Xbox or what, because I'm not an Xbox person, but the Xbox One will be able to do some 360 games.
Yep, backwards compatibility with some stuff.
Not all of them though, right?
I don't think so. No, they did the same thing with the 360 and the Xbox. It was some Xbox games were backwards compatible.
And I don't know if it's really that you can put your old discs in, or if there was going to be old games that you could get back, like you could like if you already downloaded the game and therefore you owned it. I think because they're putting an emulator in.
Right. I hope that it'll because I bought a bunch of shit that's on my hard drive of my well not anymore because I don't have it anymore, but the Xbox 360 that I just downloaded, and that would be cool if they just showed up.
Well, see, like on a PlayStation, like if you buy it in the PlayStation Store, I can go back and download it for free. Like I don't have to
Well,
keep it.
no, I didn't have to keep it either, but it's
Oh, okay.
their Xbox 360 games, not Xbox One games. So when I go into
Yeah,
my downloads,
and I
they just
think
don't show
that's
up.
I think that's what it's going to be like is that they will be available.
That would be cool. That'd be real cool.
Um, let's see what else. I can't really. I mean, people got wowed over some games. I
Yeah, there
don't.
was. I mean, there was a lot. I feel like we're underselling E3. There was a ton of news. It's just there was so much that my brain just couldn't comprehend it
But
all.
I also didn't feel like there was anything. I didn't feel like there was anything that great. And people got
Yeah.
really excited about like old titles, like Star Fox, Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII coming to iOS. I got excited about that.
Well, it's also going to be on the PlayStation.
Not the remake, but the original
The
will be
original.
iOS. I don't think that's the
And then
remake.
like in fucking come on, Ghost Recon, really like. Uh, I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
feel like
just
a lot of this stuff was stuff that we've already seen.
Mass Effect.
They showed Mass Effect. They showed some Halo 5 Guardian
Yeah,
stuff. They
Halo.
showed
There was a
Forza 6 or Forza 5. I forget which one, but the new
yeah.
one.
What's that third-person shooter for the Xbox? Gears of War. I think that
Yeah,
might have been the 360 game that was coming to the one.
maybe.
But
I
no,
honestly
no.
don't remember.
Oh, the fucking Star Wars game though. Star
Oh
Wars
yeah,
Battlefront.
Battlefront. Yeah,
Yeah.
Battlefront. Yeah, people are definitely digging on that, saying that's good.
The new Batman game comes out tomorrow.
Arkham
Arkham
City.
Knight. I think Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Uh,
put Arkham City was the last one.
yep. Yeah, and that looks. I've never played any of them, but they all look awesome. And I always get yelled at that I should play them, but I never do.
Oh, Mike, dude. So since our last show,
Hmm.
I've been playing Far Cry. Three,
Okay.
four. I think four. It's whatever the newest one is. This will be the first game in my life that I will have 100% it.
Really?
I am at like 99.8% right now. All I have to do is like do these stupid fucking fights in this arena thing and get myself to level 10, which is it's really just a grinding thing.
Hmm.
So once I get to level 10, I can buy the last fucking gun in the game and that'll take me to 100%.
Damn. So, do you like it, or are you just bored?
No, it's a fun game, and 100%ing it wasn't too hard. There's a lot of like things in the game that don't count towards your 100%.
Hmm.
Even though I did most all of those also, and there's a ton of like treasure boxes to find, and none of those count. So I'm happy about that because that it never would have happened if that was the case because they're totally unnecessary. It's just money basically. But yeah, I had a really that game actually was a lot of fun. At first, it felt very overwhelming.
Hmm.
When I first started playing the game, I was like, "Holy fucking shit! Like this is just—it's the biggest map I've ever seen." Um, it's just massive, a massive, massive game. But as I worked along a little bit, I started getting worried that I was in an Assassin's Creed type game where there are a lot of things to do, but they're all the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah, like a Destiny kind of thing.
Yeah, where you're just like, okay, I got to go to another tower and drop down,
Yeah. Like, oh,
but
let me go to this planet, but
yeah,
if I do,
but this one they were while yes, it was the same kind of mission, it definitely progressed and got harder. You know, the objective, you know, you have to take out a fortress. Well, they started getting tougher, and what I really dug was that as you worked your way further north on this map, that the landscape changed and the foliage, like the trees were barren and stuff. It was well done. I mean, it could have they did a lot of extra when they
yeah,
design it. You know what I'm saying?
that's how I feel like when I first played Skyrim or
Yeah.
like Morrowind. Like you start it and you're like, after you get through like the first like 2 hours of like, let's introduce you to the game and get you some equipment and okay, now you're on go, dude, and you're like, oh fuck, like which road do I go on? There's so
Yeah,
much
because
shit to
it's
do.
total free roam. You know, you can do whatever you want to do. And I probably, it was funny. The reason why I'm able to 100% this game is because I didn't just go do all the missions. Like I actually kind of like just ate my way out around the map because I was worried about because if you got too far into like the undiscovered area to like unlock something to essentially open that part of the map, you would get your fucking ass whooped. And so I was like, okay, like I just need to hang out in this area and do everything here so I can, you know, develop and get skills and everything. And what actually ended up happening is like I made my character really, really strong in the beginning. So through the middle, it got kind of monotonous and boring. But I have logged 61 hours on this game,
Nice.
and
That's exactly how I play any of those open world games. I'm like, all right, let me get through the preliminary stuff. Okay, now let me just beast mode my character to where when I get to the middle and end of the main mission, it's something I can just breeze through, and I don't really have to.
and can handle. You know, I don't
Yeah,
want to fucking try to do something over and over and
yeah. I'm
over
not.
again.
I'm not trying to fight this dragon 8 times. Like,
Exactly, exactly. No, I've actually had a ton of fun with Far Cry, and it's funny because it didn't get great reviews, and I didn't buy it. Somebody actually let me borrow it. Bless their heart, because I've had it for like 4 months. But
kind
I've
of on
still
this.
got. Go ahead.
Oh no, no, go ahead, because I was going to talk about a different game.
I was gonna say I still have two games in plastic wrappers from Christmas.
Yeah, I've been really bad. I haven't really touched much on my Xbox One either, but I saw the Elder Scrolls blah blah blah. What's it called? Elder Scrolls Online.
Uh huh.
When it first came out for PC, there's a lot of complaints about it because to me it sounded like the perfect game. Okay, I love Skyrim, but I don't want it to end, even though there's 200 something hours of shit to do. It I don't want to stop playing. I just want to be able to pick it up and always have stuff going on. And I was like, well, this sounds perfect because it's an online world. They can add patches. They can do this. They can do expansions. If you want, you could do stuff with other people. Yeah, that sounds really cool. But then I read the reviews and it was like, if you're a Skyrim fan, you're going to be disappointed. If you're an MMO fan, you're going to be disappointed. And they released an update called I don't know how to pronounce it. Tamriel.
No
Uh,
idea.
yeah, whatever. And it basically they addressed all of those problems, and so you can play it either as MMO style with a group of people and friends, or you can totally go through it single player, but with all of the massive online stuff. And what I'm really interested is, did you ever play Skyrim at all?
No.
Okay, well, Skyrim's huge. Like the map is giant, and Skyrim is just like one section of Elder Scrolls Online. Like it's just like a city basically. So like the actual whole entire game of Skyrim map is just one little spot. So I'm really really looking forward to checking that out. And I think it came out last week or a couple weeks ago or something like that. So I think that's the next game I'm gonna dig into.
Cool. But when I finish up Far Cry here, hopefully soon, I will be unwrapping Shadows of Mordor, and playing that.
Yeah, that's gotten really really good reviews too.
Yeah, it's supposed to
It
be a
was
great
I
game.
was I was I was either gonna play that or Dragon Age Inquisition. I ended up going with Dragon Age, and it's all right. I wanted to play a Skyrim-like game, and it's about the closest thing that I've found. But yeah, so I think that covers all the big, huge stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That's also
Um,
probably why we haven't done a show in 9 weeks.
yeah. There's a billion things coming out. It's been a busy couple of months. All right, well, let's wrap this puppy up. You got a goober, got to have it, got to trash it for us this week.
Shit. No. Dude, I don't know.
No new apps. No new apps. Game. Well, yeah, I guess Far Cry. You just talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you didn't play that, go get it. I mean, you probably pick up a used copy of that for $20 now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cheap out and say my gear gotta have it's the Google Photos app because it's dope and it's on iPhone or Android and it works really really well. And I think even if you don't buy into all of Google services, I think every person should have a automatic photo backup application on their phone because you never know. And you motherfuckers are annoying when you're like, oh, I lost my picture. Shut the fuck up. There's like 8 different ways you could back that shit up. So download it. It's free.
There you go.
All right, Ball, where can everybody get a hold of you?
You can reach me on Twitter, twitter.com/Dr. NICBALL, or you can email me, Nick, NIC, at thegadgetgurus.net. And you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegadgetgurus.
All right, you can find me MobileMike01 on Twitter, and you can send us an email podcast at thegadgetgurus.net, or if you'd like to email me directly and give me free stuff or whatever, Mike at thegadgetgurus.net. This is the Gadget Gears podcast, episode number 250. Whew. That's what I'm talking about. That's a lot. And considering we moved to monthly and then sort of like
bi-monthly.
we were doing bi-weekly, then we were doing monthly, and now we're doing like meh, whenever. That's an accomplishment. That's cool. So thanks everybody for listening, and we'll hit you next time. Gadget Gears podcast 250. We're out.
Toodles.